Hello, and welcome to the breakout session, Achieving Equity Through Family Engagement Strategies. My name is Terry Layton, and I'm from the Exceptional Children's Assistance Center, or ECAC. In addition to being the Technical Assistance Coordinator for Parent Training and Information Centers in Region B, I lead a portion of North Carolina's Preschool Development Grant in collaboration with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Public Health, Early Intervention Branch. Co-presenters today are Beverly Roberts, Family Engagement Manager at ECAC, Julie Peck, Quality Assurance and Quality Improvement Manager at the Division of Public Health, Early Intervention Branch, Janie Kozlowski, Technical Assistance Specialist at Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, otherwise known as ECTA, and Katasha Williams, also a Technical Assistance Specialist with ECTA Center. This breakout session is a true collaboration. We came together with separate conference proposals and similar themes on achieving equity through family engagement strategies. Beverly and Julie will offer strategies at the state, local, and community levels to engage families in activities that help develop skills to participate in their child's growth and development. We know that authentic family engagement requires that systems ensure equitable access to high-quality services for children and opportunities for families to engage. Which brings us to Janie and Katasha at the ECTA Center as they highlight an example of innovative collaborative efforts and successful intervention and instructional support strategies implemented during the pandemic through the video series Preschool During the Pandemic, Early Childhood Education in Extraordinary Times. All of these are strategies that can be sustained after the pandemic. And now, Beverly Roberts.
Thanks, Terry. Research says to us that one of the greatest predictors of growth and well-being is family engagement. ECAC, in collaboration with the Infant-Toddler Program, offers strategies at the state and local level, as well as in partnership with community stakeholders, to engage EI families in activities that will help develop skills to participate in their child's growth and development. This partnership embraces that authentic family engagement requires equitable access to high-quality service for children, opportunities for families to engage, and a belief that families have the capacity to support their child's development and learning. The collaboration between ECAC and the Infant-Toddler Program supports families in identifying needs and promotes practices that can lead to increased family engagement. In the next few minutes, I will walk you through one of our transition initiatives, which started before COVID-19, and talk a little how we've kept moving it forward during the pandemic. This has been a partnership between families, the Infant-Toddler Program, the CDSAs, local education agencies, and ECAC. Prior to COVID-19 and over the course of 3 years, ECAC coordinated and facilitated 17 focus groups. Together, we developed the protocol for the focus groups, designed the questions, and laid out a plan of how to conduct the groups in each of the communities where the CDSAs were located. The data from the focus groups pinpointed that transition from early intervention to preschool was the most prevalent theme identified in the focus groups. In response to the data, the early intervention transition session for families was developed in partnership with the Charlotte CDSA, Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, Cape Fear CDSA, Cumberland County Schools, and families. The CDSAs were instrumental in connecting us with the LEAs. The teams met virtually to review data, develop and review content, explore different formats and processes for providing families with information about transition. 2 pilot sessions were virtually facilitated by the teams. Prior to COVID-19, these would have been in-person sessions. The sessions were not open to the public, but targeted to 2 catchment areas in different regions of the state. The sessions were designed in 2 parts. The first part of the training was an overview of the transition process conducted by the ECAC staff, and the second part was a question and answer panel. The panel was made up of representatives of our team from the CDSAs and the LEAs, also including 2 parents that either already had a child that transitioned to preschool or were in the transition process. The star of the training were the panelists. Families really appreciate the opportunity to have their questions answered. These panelists are the very people families are either currently engaged with or will be as they move forward in the transition process. Debriefing sessions were scheduled virtually with the teams to review the data, discuss what went well and what needed improvement, as well as formulate next steps to the action plan. In both of the pilot sessions, 100% of the participants responded that the session had increased their understanding of the evaluation process and that they had a better understanding of preschool services. 83% of those that responded reported that they felt better prepared to participate in the transition process. The team began to strategize how to best maximize the training in reaching more families and how to provide the additional support to the LEAs and CDSAs in utilizing this training. As we continue to move forward, we do not take these partnerships for granted. We truly believe that together we are better. And Julie Peck is going to tell you some more about some of the other collaborations. Julie?
Thank you, Beverly, for sharing the work completed and the strategies implemented by the Exceptional Children's Assistance Center, ECAC, in partnership with the North Carolina Infant Toddler Local Programs, as well as the Early Intervention State Office, to engage and effectively support families as they transition out of the program at age 3. As Beverly discussed, North Carolina is fortunate to have a strong collaboration between its Early Intervention Program and OSEP-funded Parent Training and Information Center, continuing to forge a stronger relationship and partnership between the North Carolina Infant Toddler Program, or NCITP, and ECAC to further embrace family engagement at the state level has also been a focus for early intervention in North Carolina during the COVID-19 pandemic. I will be highlighting some key areas of work that we have undertaken together. As the NCITP, along with other states' early intervention programs, quickly pivoted to maintaining service provision for families through virtual means at the beginning of the pandemic, state office staff provided a webinar overview for ECAC staff concerning the impacts of COVID and the status of services for children and families, along with a review of related guidance documents and communication materials developed. This supported ECAC as well as the NCITP in ensuring families had the access to the information and resources they needed to help their children's learning and development during this critical time. We also established standing monthly meetings between key leaders and staff members from both programs to join in ongoing communication and action planning to embed family engagement within our system. Discussed and centered the importance of considering cultural context, routines, strengths, resources, and priorities of families in the supports provided to them. An example of this collaboration and resulting family engagement strategies focused on accessibility and increasing response rates for the NCITP's family outcome surveys. Utilizing data trends from the family surveys, as well as feedback from local program staff, the NCITP developed recommendations for supporting family engagement, including creation of an updated family outcomes survey flyer for families and implementation of additional means of accessing and completing the survey. ECAC helped to further ensure the flyer and survey accessibility were meaningful from a family perspective by lending their expertise with review and critical feedback from staff and families with young children with developmental disabilities or delays. In addition to focusing on the importance of family voice and the potential positive impacts for other families from completing the survey, the flyer highlighted key data results and comments from families from previous surveys in a streamlined, graphically engaging layout. It also included instructions with multiple options available to families for accessing and completing the survey, including a quick response code and hyperlink to the survey online, as well as telephone and paper-based methods. ECAC ensured the option to complete surveys by phone was available to families receiving NCITP services through sharing their toll-free number for this purpose and providing staff coverage of the phone line. The NCITP is grateful that families have the option to connect with ECAC to provide information and support for this purpose. Families will also be offered the opportunity to join the ECAC mailing list after completing surveys by phone. The NCITP is also leveraging ECAC's family engagement expertise utilizing preschool development grant funds for several additional strategies, including creating and disseminating 5 interagency coordinating council electronic newsletters, updating local interagency coordinating council family recruitment activities on the Infant Toddler Program website for statewide LICC use, creating media presentations to educate LICCs on purpose and function, especially as it relates to family and parent recruitment, and creating family-friendly fact sheets and infographics that provide essential information and resources on several early intervention topics. Thank you for the opportunity to share about the exciting family engagement partnership work in North Carolina. Now I will hand the presentation back to Terry.
Thanks, Julie. In closing our portion of this presentation, we hope you gain positive examples of how two separate entities within the state can work together toward a common goal of achieving better outcomes for children in the early intervention system. And now we turn it over to Janie Kozlowski.
Thanks, Terry. Hi there, I'm Janie Kozlowski, Technical Assistant Specialist with the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. The COVID-19 pandemic has been extremely difficult for all of us, especially so for early childhood educators that support children birth through 5, including children with disabilities and their families. We definitely learned through this experience that early childhood educators are extremely resilient. There are countless examples of educators that rose to the occasion and were able to continue to support children and families in a meaningful way, even from a distance. In an effort to capture this groundbreaking work during these unprecedented times, Larry Edelman and his team developed a video series for ECTA titled Preschool During the Pandemic, Early Childhood Education in Extraordinary Times. There are 16 episodes in the series, and they're intended to capture the experience of families, service coordinators, service providers, educators, administrators, and other early childhood and community partners from across the country, illustrating how the fields of early education and early childhood special education successfully supported preschoolers and their families during the COVID-19 pandemic through the use of technology. The series shows the challenges the pandemic presented and the successful strategies for how to adapt together to meet the needs of children and families. As you watch the videos, you'll learn many different evidence-based practices that can be implemented from a distance, even as we return to primarily in-person learning. The videos also highlight the importance of understanding the cultural context of families and providing meaningful supports that build on and reinforce family routines, resources, strengths, and priorities. You know, I could tell you all about the videos, but to really get a sense of the content, let's take a brief look at a portion of one of the videos in the series. This clip is from episode 8, and the video is titled, Noah and Pop Pop Go to Preschool. Let's watch.
Really smart kid. Sometimes almost scary smart. Very spoiled. Definitely a mama's boy. Listens and pays attention to everything. Everybody has to be mindful in the house of what they say because he will repeat it and do it. Just a very happy-go-lucky kid, really. Very loving, single mom. Go to work every day. He stays with Pop-Pop most of the time, and obviously during this pandemic, he's been doing virtual learning with Pop-Up.
And I'm known as Pop-Up, and I have the fortunate opportunity to be here to take Noah through his Zoom sessions. Wonderful.
Noah, it's your turn. All right, he says he's ready.
I got a beetle.
So.
Ooh, a little beetle.
And a bee.
And show him what it does.
Ooh, show me. I can't wait to see this.
Wow. It's a beetle.
It is a beetle, and it's like
Good
it
job,
swims
Noah.
on its own, on its back.
She gets up and leaves for work around 8 o'clock, so I'm in charge of getting him up for breakfast and getting him ready for Zoom. Well, I found the first 2, maybe 3 weeks of his Zoom schooling, I was too hovering over top of him. Noah's a 4-year-old child. You can't expect them to sit still and pay attention like I wanted them to, so I put a lot of stress on myself. After I got through that anxiety, it went very well. I needed to just back off. So, let him kind of take the reins and just be there to kind of guide him as, when he needed it. And it really made things easier for me. And I think he really appreciated that. I think he started to take the reins as much as he could, and he started to excel.
Noah, is Noah here today?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. Let's stomp for Noah. Noah, what do you think? Fast or slow today?
Really good. Really, 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 really fast.
Wow, really
Whoa.
fast. Good morning, Noah. Good morning, Noah. Good morning, Noah. We're glad that you are here. Look at you, Pop Pop.
Yeah.
Do your exercise first thing this morning, okay? You are out of breath, Noah. You went really fast feet.
Miss Rebecca and her teammate, Miss Amanda, they was a heck of a team, keeping the kids engaged and making sure they all participated in the half-hour sessions. The kids did well. I thought it went well.
He always had like a little small desk. He has a desk area, but now I'm like, okay, how can I get it set up so that way it imitates a classroom so he's focused and not just thinking, oh, this is just home, my desk at home. So this is what I did to help set up to kind of help him. If you see this top half, we got alphabets on the side, a number line that goes all the way up to 100, his name with little funny robot characters, the weather, he gets to change them. They are magnetic. There's a whiteboard. He got his crayons and stuff in the top drawer. Just, a place where he can work, sit still, and he knows when he goes there, okay, this is school. My part was the communications. They use what they call Class Dojo. I had that constantly on my phone. So when it came to communicating with the teacher, I was spot on right there. I'm fully aware and understand, even though I have to work, I have to be attentive and communicate at all times with the teacher. That was my responsibility that I took on. And so whatever I needed to let my dad know, I would let him know. And then I would do my best to try to make sure I got out whatever he needed the night before for that next day so that it would make it easier on my dad and Noah, and they would have it right there. I was really, really grateful for it, their schedule, how the day is going to go. I kind of felt like I was right in the classroom. I mean, even though I wasn't doing Zoom with him as much. So I really, really like that.
Anthony says, I hear the letter H. My friends, can you find H on your board? Where's the H? Where's the H? Where's the H? You did it. Nice job.
The month of October was learning about clothing.
So they would ask for clothing items, and see if the kids could find them.
So Noah, I have to have you go first because I am so intrigued to see you spread all your clothes out on the floor, didn't you?
Yeah, tell her.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Can you tell me about the piles of clothes you made? Tell us what colors you found in your hamper.
Blue, and black, and green. Blue, black. Wait, blue.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get this. There you go.
Black,
Oh, thank you, Papa.
black, and green, and orange.
Isn't that cool? The teachers are rock stars. In addition to the video series, another team at ECTA developed a set of facilitator guides that serve as companion materials to the videos. My colleague Katasha is going to share a little bit about those facilitator guides. Katasha, would you share some of the highlights from the guides?
Sure thing. I'm Katasha Williams, Technical Assistant Specialist with the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Now let's take a moment to dive into the facilitator guide for the episode you just viewed, Noah and Pop Pop Go to Preschool. Here you see an example of how each guide is cross-referenced with the early care and education environment indicators and elements of high-quality inclusion. These indicators were developed by the Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center and the National Center for Pyramid Model Innovations, and details key elements that are necessary for implementing high-quality inclusive practices in early childhood settings. Episodes are also cross-referenced with the DEC recommended practices, which highlight those practices specifically known to promote the outcomes of young children and to support their families in accordance with the DEC NAEYC Joint Position Statement on Early Childhood Inclusion. Additionally, each facilitator guide includes a short episode description and prompts to consider when viewing videos. You'll also find reflection questions that may be used to frame individual or small group reflection. There are also interactive group activities to prompt dialogue and peer learning, as well as related resources, including practice improvement tools. Each facilitator guide is designed using adult learning principles to deepen understanding and to extend learning of the content into the user's own work. Facilitator guides are available for each of the 16 episodes and can be accessed in both English and in Spanish. You can find these guides at the National Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center website.